comic book fans, welcome to another exciting edition of Cammy's Comic Corner. I'm your host as always, Cammy. Now here's your spoiler warning. I give it to you every episode from now on. I'm going to be ruining all your favorite childhood memories, books, movies, etc. So if you don't want anything spoiled, do not watch this episode until you did. I mean, it's kind of obvious, right? And also another little heads up, there's a lot of Batman books being talked about this week, or I'm sorry, Batbooks. So, if you're a DC hater, might want to, brush this episode off your shoulder, as it were. But moving on to the pick of the week from Marvel. Got your attention this far. We have Punisher Max number 11, written by Jason Aaron and art by Steve Dillon. Now, I know what you're thinking. This book is still coming out. Yes, it was delayed a little bit, but it's out this week, and, it came out, and I loved it. It might have been just because I was in the action, bloody, beating people to the pulp mood. Don't know. But it was such an enjoyable tale because you have Frank Castle going in for the kill, going and storming Fisk, a.k.a. Kingpin's mansion, to kill him. Get it over with. This guy's the head honcho. Take him out. They all fall to pieces. Well, around this time, Bullseye has finally cracked the code of what makes Frank Castle, and he knows Frank. He knows what makes him tick, all the way back to that one day in the park where he lost his entire family. And he's going to use that against Frank and use that to his advantage. Big old fight happens. It's between Bullseye and Frank. Bullseye is just loving it because A, he's batshit crazy, and B, because now he knows what to expect and how to take him down. And it gets so gross at certain points too, but then it's like God listens to Bullseye, and when the elevator opens, they're both struggling at each other's throats, and they see that they've wandered onto a construction site. And Bullseye even whispers, "There is a God." And so a couple of, huge fight scenes later, and Bullseye has got a pinky, Frank's pinky, and you don't know how hard he had to work to get that. He's about to finish him off. Frank has gotten away. He's about to kill Fisk, but then he gets confronted by Bullseye again, and Bullseye whispers to him, what he must have said to his wife that day in the park. And it just makes Frank in shock. He remembers. He knows what's happened. And because of this, Fisk takes advantage of the situation and makes sure they both go through the glass ceiling, and they're surrounded by police, and it looks pretty bad for Frank next issue. But it was very, very fun. Jason Aaron, I think it's safe to say at this point, knows the character, and even I'm sure is making Garth Ennis somewhere go, bravo, because this is Punisher, this is Max. It's like Garth never left, and when a book's that good, it's that good. Now on to the Fast Five.
Yeah.
First up, from DC, we have Batman and Robin number 21. Now it's Gleason and Tomasi, same creative team as Green Lantern Corps, back with in Gotham City, and we see that the Langstrom family of Man-Bat are about to plunge to their deaths. They're rescued by Batman and Robin. The details of how they got there are hazy. They were obviously drugged with something, and then we get introduced to the villain of this arc, who is called the White Knight, and apparently his whole mission is to feed this black tree the blood of martyrs. Any martyrs in particular? Yes, as Bruce and Damian discover, it's the blood and the victims are all related to Arkham Asylum inmates. So now it's a race against the clock to see which families are accounted for before they strike again. Sure enough, the Mad Hatter's family has already gotten killed. And it's crazy. It's a new villain. I'm liking it. And it's very pretty art. Very nice double-page spreads, that's for sure. Next up, from Vertigo, we have Cinderella, Fables Are Forever, number 2. Now, last time we left Cinderella, she was on the stairs, in bikini, gun pointed at Dorothy Gale from Wizard of Oz, also in bikini, and she's a redhead. So, inner Cammy goes, continue. I like where this is going. And then it does continue in this issue. They're interrupted by a dragon, which is a Russian-born fable, and then Cinderella has to make her getaway. But they did meet again years later in Thailand when she was on assignment once again, looking for the secret fable community in kind of the China-Asia area. And she stumbles upon a house, and sure enough, there's Dorothy again. She was looking actually for a Madame Meng, but she couldn't find her. Well, now they're going back all these years later to find Madame Meng because apparently she might know the whereabouts and how to locate Dorothy. But before the Madame can give them anything, she's killed by a poisonous spike that comes from a creature called a Chiss. And where is the Chiss fable homelands? Why, it's in Oz, of course. So Dorothy's behind this. She doesn't want to be found. And it's, once again, codenamed Silver Slipper, very, very interesting enemy slash a double agent of sorts. Is a good foe for Cinderella, is what I'm trying to get at. And if you've been liking Fables and you like a little spy in your Fables, be checking out this series. I mean, look at the Chrissy Zullo covers, for crying out loud. They're fucking beautiful. Next up from DC, we have Batgirl number 19. Now, with Batgirl with limited resources, because the Oracle apparently is quote-unquote dead, she's kind of waiting for Proxy to get back in the game, but in the meantime, she's trying to do a little detective work on her own. There has been a bank heists of all sorts in Gotham, only the weird thing about these bank heists is the money's still there, and apparently the person in charge of breaking into it and leaving it all there is a metahuman of some sort, and Batgirl doesn't really have that much experience with metahumans, so she needs all the resources at her disposal, ASAP. And we find out that this speedster is called Slipstream, and he's quite the foe, and even one night when the Grey Ghost is following or trying to, remain hidden from Batgirl, they get in a fight. Slipstream is about to finish her off, but something calls him back. And also this issue we find out that Batgirl has this great new updated little Batgirl cave. I mean, Bat, quotations, girl cave. And it's going to be interesting to see what new toys that she has at her disposal now that Proxy's back on the team, and how she's going to take this villain to justice. So it's fun, it's Batgirl, and Ramon Box's art on this. It's a very nice fit, I gotta say. I'm really digging it. Next up from Dark Horse, we have BPRD Hell on Earth Gods number 3. Now, Agent Devon is saved by Abe in this issue because a big old creature slash beetle from underground comes up and starts attacking the BPRD. They're able to eventually bring it down thanks to Abe, as Devon is hiding, curling up in a ball in the corner. But after talking to one of the kids that they were chasing in the first place, they find out where the girl they're looking for might be, Phoenix, and by the time they get there, the bugs have started attacking her little clan as well. Well, the agents have brought down the bugs, and they're looking for, all the kids that have scattered. Abe comes face to face with Phoenix, tries to explain, like, I know, my appearance might be weird, but we're here to help. And at this point, Phoenix takes out a gun and shoots him, a whole clip into Abe. Yes, he's wearing a vest, but, the vest is only going to do so much if she's just shooting you all over. And when Devon is confronted about who shot Abe, who did it, he doesn't know. He hasn't seen. When in fact he did see, he just wants Abe to die because this guy has a whole grudge against Abe, and it's starting to piss me off for sure. But now, with this cliffhanger of the end of this miniseries, we have Abe being flown off to get some help. And unfortunately, also at the end of this arc, it's Guy Davis's swan song. He's no longer going to be on BPRD. It's unfortunate. He had a great run, but I'm looking forward to this new artist for sure, to see what he has to bring to the table. And I'm intrigued after this cliffhanger to see what happens next. Good stuff. And finally this week from DC, we have Batman Incorporated number 3. Now, where in the world is Batman this week? Why, or couple months if you remember when number 2 finally came out, way back when. Why, he's in Argentina. He and El Gaucho come to the aid of Cimarron of the Super Milan as Papagayo, this evil villain who has this great skin condition and has the parrot and everything and wears colorful colors. And his blue scorpions are trying to take care of it. These blue scorpions explode, and that's it. It's the big old action sequence at the beginning to save this hero who's looking to save some kids. They don't find the kids, but they find who Papagayo's boss was before he meets his untimely demise. It's someone called Ouroboros, and so now that's what they're looking for. Meanwhile, Batman's trying to recruit El Gaucho to the Batman Incorporated. Has his full cooperation yet, but in the meantime, they're working together to find the kids. They find the kids, but then they find something else. They find Scorpiana, and then El Sombrero apparently is back from the dead, back from Arkham. So this takes El Gaucho by surprise, takes Batman by surprise, and once again, Batman is in another death trap. He never learns. You'd think, the master detective would have ace up his sleeve. Well, he might, but tune in for issue 4 to see if he does, in fact, have an ace up his sleeve. So, a couple months maybe? I just kid. No, really, maybe it's a couple months. Well, that does it this week for Cammy's Comic Corner. If you want more Cammy's Comic Corner goodness, head on over to www.cammyscomiccorner.com. From there, you can listen to the audio spin-off every Wednesday, Geeky Talkie. This past Wednesday, I interviewed Lobster Johnson about how Emerald City Comic Con was. And then every Friday, check out Cammy's Favorite Covers. some of them were highlighted in this episode, like Punisher Max, Cinderella, Fables Are Forever. Hells yeah, people! Also, I'm going to be going to WonderCon in April, and if you make a donation to the site of $20 or more, you get a prize pack with signed comics, all sorts of comic book goodies, and the loot from what I bring back with me from WonderCon. So, you know, you help support the show, you get a little something, a little thank you in return, and please live in the United States, because international shipping is a bitch, and the donation would be, it would be nice, but it would all go to shipping your items, that's for sure. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at CamComicCorner, see what I had for lunch, see what came out of my butt when I was on the toilet, etc. I mean, that's what Twitter's for, right? Anyway, this has been Cammy's Comic Corner. I have been your host, Cammy. Now, if you excuse me, I have to do April's Book of the Month, because, well, yesterday I released Book of the Month for March, so I'm kind of behind. Lo siento, as the Germans would say, and I'm getting right on it. I promise this time. Really, I do.